This is such a marquee moment in the generational leadership that President Trump has provided.
This is original reporting by the Variety program. The Panama Canal was something that Jimmy Carter signed over for $1 after the blood, sweat, and tears of Americans were shed to create it, to create a passageway from the east to the west, essentially to ship commerce. And we had all that work, and they just handed it over to the Panamanians as if that was just going to work. And everybody sort of lost sight of it because, you don't pay attention to that kind of thing until it's a problem. Well, Democrats didn't pay attention to it even when it was a problem. Donald Trump highlighted it. And it's like, well, I don't know. This seems like something Donald Trump would fix. Well, lo and behold, 6 weeks in, the man fixed it. And there was a Wall Street Journal piece that was highlighted last week included some of these details about the buyer, BlackRock, U.S.-based investment firm. The seller was C.K. Hutchison. It's a Hong Kong-based conglomerate that was controlled by Li Ka-shing, one of Asia's richest individuals. Huge Chinese connection there. Obviously, the whole deal was like $23 billion. And you're like, okay, well, how does a Trump administration unwind what obviously was seen as a great investment by the Chinese to control both access points?
Which is insane when you think about that.
Insane, because it's military and commerce.
Like the U.S. military was being charged to move warships through the Panama Canal
through our own
after
hemisphere.
Americans died.
After we're protecting the whole hemisphere in the process. So this is really interesting. So this whole thing, this is original reporting by the Variety program. We spoke with multiple people who were involved in the negotiations. And it started coming together after the Rubio remarks about Chinese ownership constituting a treaty violation for possible violations of international law. I mean, it's like step one. When I saw those, I was like, okay, they do actually have a plan. This isn't like we're going to take Greenland, which we might do that too, but like they actually have a game plan on this. They're going to try to do this. So the previous owner, C.K. Hutchison, as I talked about, the Chinese entity, brought on Goldman Sachs, an American company, to try to figure out a way to get out of this. They're owning it. They're looking at Trump.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
Don't be the way of that.
Yeah, like I can figure out how to get my money out of this, or I can have the U.S. Marines involved.
Yeah. Right.
That's basically my take.
Becomes a simple choice at that point.
That's basically my take. And it was like 45 ports. It wasn't just the Panama Canal. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock, called DJT a couple of days before the State of the Union to alert him that they were going to make moves on this deal. And the Chinese, his basic point was like the Chinese can no longer shut down this canal if we take over. Like this is an American company. This is what we're going to do. State Department helped facilitate all of this. And the end of the deal is, it's $23 billion. It's a big deal. But I think the leverage that the Trump administration put on day one made it clear to this Chinese operation, we got to get out one way or another.
Yep.
And this American company was, it's situated in a place, by the way, not for nothing, is like, we should probably make good on, it's probably in our best interest of our shareholders no matter what, but it's also probably in our best interest no matter what to make sure the Trump administration sees that we are for good here.
Yeah, I think this is just this is such a marquee moment in the generational leadership that President Trump has provided. Digging this canal in the first place with Teddy Roosevelt and all of these Americans who basically gave their life to shovel through from one ocean to the other over time by Democrats. You mentioned Jimmy Carter. They're just like, you know what, China, if you really want it, you can have it. We don't want to get in your way. And President Trump is like, no, this belongs to America, America first. And I just think, like, without his leadership on this particular issue, it would never happen. The Chinese would have encroached even further into our hemisphere.
It's such a perfect encapsulation of the problem that Donald Trump is trying to fix when he says America first. And that is, like, for far too long, the altruism of the United States of America has not been reciprocated by the rest of the world. It just hasn't.
It hasn't.
It hasn't. And so when you do things like unite 2 oceans for an entire fucking continent, and then people want to be like, oh, well, you got to pay to go through this thing.
Yeah.
Now we're going to say, no.
Not doing it.
We're taking it back.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
And in a matter of weeks, you have American, you've seen this, it's not just on this deal. You've seen it with Apple. You've seen it with the AI announcement. You've seen it with a number of manufacturing outfits across the country. They're like, yeah, we'll step up. We'll do it. We'll change the way our business works. We understand what you're saying.
Because that's how Americans are.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's why so many people are excited about President Trump, because he gives Americans permission to be themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and to win and to innovate and to just continue to thrive. And, you know, for the last 4 years, that whole idea was like anathema. You're not allowed to try.
Yeah.
You just have to take what the government gives you. If Joe Biden and these Democrat NGOs want to do it, okay, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get a call from Tara McGowan and she'll want to do something with our company. No, it's like, hey, Americans have something to contribute. We have the greatest country in the world. Let's act like it, you know? And like this is one of the greatest wins, I feel like, of the last 50 years.
People will underappreciate it because it is done so quickly and seamlessly without a whole bunch of drama involved in it. But make no mistake, this is an extremely big victory.
And you know what? I think that what you just said is starting to become a hallmark of this second Trump administration. It's the sharp use of leverage. It's getting results. It's no drama. You've got already the greatest negotiator on the planet who can bring leverage to bear like no one else, DJT. He said, we're taking it back. So you guys got to figure out how to get this done. And they got it done.
So I think in the end, like, what they ought to do is a celebration, because you're right. This has gone under the radar. Like, they ought to have a Codel announced down there. I mean, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically a delegation of American officials that go down there and celebrate this, because it is worth celebrating.
Yeah, great idea.
Hell, we'll MC the thing.
Yeah, even better.
I'd be happy to be down there.
We'll MC the thing.
Do you think we could get some of those great hats?
Panama?
That's what I'm in it for.
A Panama hat with the big bill?
Yeah, maybe like a DJT signature on the side.
While they play Panama by Van Halen. See, we're the right people to celebrate this.
We are. There's nobody that they'd rather see.
That's right.
Nobody would bring diplomatic certainty like the Ruthless Variety program. Anyway, we got that information. We thought it was worth passing along because it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
You only get it here.